Today we're going to check out one of the coolest new Honda CT125 builds that I've ever seen, and it's not a 125 anymore, but we'll dive more into that shortly, as this custom Trail 125, also known as the Hunter Cub in other corners of the world, has a laundry list of goodies that we're going to break down. But first, let me tell you who built the bike, and that's Wayne at the Speed Shop down in Georgia. If you haven't seen his work yet from some of my past videos, I highly suggest checking them out, and I'll have links below to where you can follow the crazy builds he's got in the works right now. But back on topic, we'll start off first with what she's rolling on, and in place of the factory aRacer GP5 tires, we have a little more aggressive setup with these wider Shinko 244 series dual sport tires for the CT125 that'll definitely give you more grip on those days where you want to swerve off-road and have a little fun. Followed up with a set of Baja Designs S1 LED pod lights that pump out 2375 lumens, and without a doubt, they not only help with your visibility but also to get the attention of other drivers out on the road. So hopefully there's less likelihood of them not seeing you, but as we all know, that's only going to help so much with some of the Looney Tunes out on the roads these days. With a yellow tint thrown on the inside of the headlight to match and tie it all together without the need of having to worry about it chipping off in the future. Then we've got a headlight guard and cargo rack set up from Moto skill that takes what is normally dead space around your headlight and gives you somewhere to strap stuff down, as well as another place to mount things, whether it be a camera or your phone like Jason did that you'll see in some of these rolling shots. And we've got another part from Moto skill with their crash bars that loop out a little more than the factory bars to hopefully help prevent too much damage on the bike when she hits the ground, which is the last thing you want to do on this thing, as the most expensive modification done to this CT125, aside from the engine build, is the paint. Curt over at National Superbike put his magic touch on this one, laying down a shade of blue from Porsche called Frozen Blue Metallic, and man oh man is this color difficult to capture on camera. When the light hits it just right, the metallic in it is absolutely beautiful, and depending on the lighting, it looks like an entirely different color. The swing arm was also dialed in to match, just like how Honda does it from the factory, but they opted to do the large cargo rack Outback in black, and I think that was the right move to break up the colors a bit, but what do you guys think? And speaking of cargo, it's now sporting a Givi Outback 58-liter storage box, so you've got plenty of room to haul things, and the icing on the cake is that it works as a perfect rider backrest too. Now before we get into the engine details, Honda kinda handicaps you if you want to ride this bike in a spirited fashion or do any serious modifications, as you don't have a tachometer to tell you how high you're wringing her neck, and that's a problem. So we've got a new gauge display from OPMID that has way too many cool features to break down, as it puts you guys asleep quicker than my talking already does. Wake up. Which ties us into the engine, and if that sticker on the side hasn't already given it away, the stock 125cc engine has gone bye-bye, and this CT125 is now sporting a Kitaco Neo 181cc big bore kit with a forged piston, rod, and crankshaft with their matching high-performance head too. It doesn't stop there though, as we still need to keep her running cool, and being air-cooled while pumping out that much horsepower isn't always the best combo, so you've got an oil cooler from Kitaco to help out on that front too. We also have a few things that are hidden in the engine, like the Grom Fatherz manual cam chain tensioner and the new roller bearing tensioner arm from the Speed Shop with a Takegawa oil pump to keep things flowing. And speaking of flow, if you want to make more horsepower,
yes please,
you need more airflow, and that's where the Koso 34mm intake manifold comes into play, that's made it up to a Takegawa 34mm throttle body. And feeding that throttle body is a Chimera intake that's been modified to fit the CT125. And now that we've got all that extra air coming into the engine, we need to let it out, and that's why the stock pea shooter exhaust was thrown to the side for this full titanium over racing GP performance exhaust. Not only does it let more airflow, it's also sexy as all get out with the titanium changing colors, and the icing on the cake, aside from giving you more sound from the factory exhaust, which sounds like a sewing machine, is that it's also 6 pounds lighter and sounds like this. Now, are we really going to make all of this extra horsepower in a CT125 and stick with the stock 4-speed transmission?
No.
The CT is sporting the Takegawa 5-speed, with the first gear being a little taller now, while second through fourth are a bit shorter, and fifth comes in to match the stock fourth gear. Then to fine tune all of the performance mods to this CT125, we've got a standalone ECU set up with the aRacer Mini X to fine tune things, and their AF2 wideband to keep tabs on your air to fuel ratios. And you know, if you would have asked me years ago if I thought this kind of tech would trickle down to our mini bikes, I would have said,
You're crazy, man.
but here we are, and I'm all for it. Now I've got to give a massive shout out to Wayne at the Speed Shop for helping line me up with the new owner of this build, Jason. And I've got to give a massive thank you to Jason for being open to the idea and going out of his way to meet up with me so I could shoot the bike, and big thanks to his sons for joining in as well, and for helping us out so we could get these rolling shots of the bike. And last but not least, thanks to you guys for watching and helping support all of this. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one.